Hey, what is going on, everybody? And welcome to the Scamma Raid. Yes, that's right, Scamma Raid, because it's going to be all about why Gamma is such a hot piece of garbage and why out of all of the Greek raids, this is not only by far the worst and hasn't really been updated nearly enough, but the amount of usable characters in 2021 available to use in this raid is pitifully low. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by looking at why it's so bad, also take a look at the Greek Orbs more wider and give my thoughts here. Then we're going to share my raid thoughts on this and then take a look at my character spreadsheet and go over the releases of the last year or so and how many of these are actually usable in Gamma. Now I do videos like this bashing Gamma from time to time, but a lot of it is because I just want this to get attention. I want the devs and the CMs to understand that this is something that needs a lot of work. Either make this more playable with newer characters, scrap the whole damn raid, or make it so we can 3-star autoplay Greek raids or whatever to get some time back. All that and more in today's video, so let's get this roller coaster started. Okay, and so the first thing I want to bring to your guys' attention is the Greek raid orbs. Now you might notice I have a crap ton of orbs in my in my orb section of my store here because I just can't be asked to open them. I have 80 alpha orbs, 106 beta orbs, and 65 gamma orbs. I'm not sure, maybe I pulled more gamma raid orbs in general because there's Shatterstar? I don't know. To be honest, these orbs have not been updated in a very long time. And as far as the Gamma Raid orb goes, I honestly think the last person to be added in here was Shatterstar. I think that, yeah, absolutely. The newest character in here is Shatterstar, which, we'll see when we get to my character spreadsheet in terms of the actual date of I believe where he was added into the orbs. Actually, I'm not sure. I know when he was made farmable. Maybe I don't have the date when he was actually put into the Gamma Raid orb. Doesn't really matter because he's like he's a year old, I guess, at this point. He was in December 2020. I'm kind of losing track of time a little bit here. But as far as the rest of the characters, most of these are, with the exception of like Gamora and Nebula, from the Infinity Watch rework, other than that, everyone else is pretty much garbage. Like there's absolutely no need to have any of these, and they really are not that helpful. You might say that, okay, Sif and Heimdall, Sif is in the War Store, and this is for Black Bolt, but honestly, Black Bolt's a load of crap too, and not something that you should be paying much attention to. So the first thing is I would like to see some of these Greek Raid orbs more generally updated, because there hasn't been updates in a significant amount of time. I think actually Gamma might have the most recent update. I think as far as characters go in the beta orb, you're looking at like Taskmaster, Proxima, and Corvus. That was from 2020 springtime, right? And that when they got released. So this is super old. Sinister Six, other outdated characters, the characters you're not really using. The alpha also isn't faring that much better, if it is even at all. The newest character in here would be Ghost Rider. Honestly, I'm not sure. Ghost Rider or Heimdall. Like it's a stinking pile of crap. Frank, like I could say more, but I mean, look at these characters. Like, who are you even using out of this? Black Panther for Chaos Theory. Just the fact that you need shards for him, and then Iron Fist maybe for Heroes for Hire. Oh, sorry, and M'Baku also for Chaos Theory. And that's really about it. You're not really using any of these characters. So all three of these raid orbs for the Greeks are just a hot, stinking pile of trash. And so now that we've gone over that and clarified that part, let's get this fixed. Let's get it updated. Let's get it reworked. There's plenty of characters, because starting with the Alpha Raid orb, I'm pretty sure these are Hero Mystics. I think that's the tag for this. That makes sense, I think. Beta is Villain Skill and Villain Tech, I think, because you got some skill, you got some tech. I'm pretty sure that's the case. They're all villains. And then Gamma is Cosmic Hero Brawlers. Cosmic Brawlers. Cosmic Brawlers and Protectors? Yeah, I think that's right. Cosmic Protectors and Brawlers, because you have a Brawler, you have a Protector, and then they're all Cosmic characters. So I think that's pretty much makes sense there. I'm sure I'm sure, without actually going into the filters, because I don't want to spend too much time talking about that and going into there, there must be characters that can be added to those filters. Leave a comment down below so I don't have to go and do that, but I'm almost certain there must be more characters that can be added to this list in 2021. We'll take a look at that actually when we get to the spreadsheet section, when I go over my character spreadsheet. The second part is I want to actually take a look at the raid itself. So I do have Gamma 4.1 running. Some of you guys might be really surprised to know that yes, my alliance runs Gamma 4.1. We don't run Gamma 4.3 or 4.2, we run Gamma 4.1. Because this is honestly a load of trash. This raid is so bad that I just like, it's actually kind of hard. I would argue that Gamma Raid 4.3 can be harder than Doom 2. Believe it or not, because of the certain characters that are required to be used, a lot of them which are severely outdated at this point in time, I would argue that that's the case. Now, as far as progress goes, we normally get to around the 60% mark. I auto a lot of this stuff, but, there is a lot of... I wanted to get a fresh raid just to share with you guys the traits. I think that we can kind of, and if you look at the rewards, honestly, it's just not much different. You get, a gold orb, less than a gold orb. I don't think this really goes up too significantly in the difficulties. You get a little bit more in the gamma raid orb fragments, but like I said, it's all ultimates fodder, so why does that even matter? You get a little bit more on the elite orange orb fragments, but honestly this doesn't matter too much because if you're doing Doom 2, you're getting a shit ton of these daily anyway, so I wouldn't justify the higher difficulties for, like an extra orb, basically, when in Doom 2, you're getting 7 of these daily, I think? I forget. Here, I'm running 30%. You're getting, sorry, 11. You're getting basically 10 to 11 of these daily. So why would I go up on Gamma Raid to 4.3 and maybe get like one more orange elite orb for the huge increase in difficulty? And I guess to look at the traits, not the power levels, because I can't share another 4. We can look at 3 though, because they have similar traits in them. So I want to take a look at this more broadly, and you can kind of look, I'm pretty sure it has the same traits. So Brotherhood and Shield, there's only been one, we're not going to talk about the specific characters because we're going to go through the spreadsheet and look at it. We're just kind of looking more broadly at the traits required in these sections and how kind of crap they are. Brotherhood and Shield, there's only been one real character that's been added to that, Aim or Shield. Again, nothing really added to the Aim section, only one character added to Shield. Then you can use all 3 on the bosses, and then we get Defenders and Hydra Heroes for Hire. Now, Heroes for Hire was added. I forgot how long ago. It was like 4 or 5 months ago. But that was all that was added. And we'll talk about the addition and the changes on the left and the right side later on. So that kind of remains the same. Defenders, there's Hydra, so you can use Baron Zemo. But I mean, again, that's not really changed in the longest of times. They just added new characters back in 2020 that were usable for these sections. But 2021 was pretty bleak. Guardians, Mercs, and X-Men. I would say X-Men is the widest tag in terms of usable characters. But this actually was never that hard of a section because the X-Men had such a huge roster. And now with Astonishing X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, all sorts of X-Men related characters, it's not too bad. Again, we get Heroes for Hire down the center, and then you get towards the end, and this usually gets pretty easy when you get to around here. Kree, but Spider-Verse particularly, a lot of people have built up symbiotes, especially who have been running these raids for a very long time, so that's really common. I think it stays the same on both sides, and it kind of merges basically at some point, and it keeps going that way. Now, in terms of the left and the right-hand side, though, you get Avengers or Spider-Verse. So once again, now you have either the Web Warriors, I guess. So I will concede there, but I mean, this was never a big issue this side because there was a lot of Avengers and Spider-Verse characters. Secret Avengers qualifies. Now the Young Avengers actually qualify, so they count as Avengers as far as Gamma Ray tags go. So I'll have to mention that, I guess. And then, of course, Web Warriors, like I said. Guardians, now the Gamora had the rework. That helps a little bit there, but she's probably the best member of that. And then when you get to here, this is actually the hardest. So Pimtech or Wakandan, and then Kree or Pimtech. What was removed and given for Pimtech was like Ravagers in hand and stuff. But this is really interesting because now that Star-Lord T'Challa was given not only the Ravagers tag and not given the Wakandan tag, this section has been made harder that if they had left the Ravager tag intact, I don't know if it was on both sides or not, or if it was just on one. But this would have made it significantly easier because of the reworks given to the Ravagers. So they took Ravagers away, and now that Ravagers have been reworked, they're actually better to be used in this section than Pimtech. They would actually raid better with Star-Lord T'Challa, Yondu, and all the minions. They would raid better than Pimtech, with the exception of Ghost. The rest of them are pretty garbage, and I think that this is something that should be rectified. Whether or not it will, that's another question. And then as we get onto the other side past that, it's Brotherhood, Mercs, and X-Men. Again, X-Men not very difficult. So the hardest sections, I would say, is this leg of it here, which is Pimtech or Wakandan or Kree or Pimtech. You do have Phyla-Vell, so it makes me wonder if Phyla-Vell was given the tag, why, you know, for Kree, and she's not really, she's very loosely associated with the Kree in Marvel Strike Force in terms of her synergy. Why can't Star-Lord T'Challa be given Wakandan? Please let me know that. I mean, he's from Wakanda. I know he's not primarily, you know, spent his time there, but I mean, if Phyla-Vell can get given the Kree tag, I just don't understand why. And then this section towards the beginning, I would say, arguably, is fairly difficult. SHIELD and Brotherhood are not characters you're building now. AIM, with the exception of like a little bit of building for campaigns, you're not really building them too much. But once we're talking about the difficulty, like 4.3, even 4.2, it gets significantly harder. There's only one new SHIELD character that I would say is of any value, and we're going to get to that. We'll just say it now, it's Maria Hill. By the time that we get to the character spreadsheet, though, we'll take a look at all the characters that have been made available for this. But frankly, nobody's building this garbage, you know, traits for this, and the left and the right are exactly the same. So that being said, let's jump on over to the spreadsheet so we can take a look at what characters have actually been usable in Gamma. Probably, I want to look at since late 2020, and then look to that to now and see how many characters have actually been made available. Okay, so I'm sure many of you are familiar with my character spreadsheet. I update this and show this off every now and then for other reasons and such. This is my character spreadsheet. So I want to take a look at, you know what, let's start at the winter patch of 2020. No particular reason, but I just kind of want to do almost like a full year's worth of characters and take a look at how many of them have actually been usable in the traits that we know to be there for the Gamma raid. And what I want to say really quickly, what I like about the Alpha and the Beta raids, obviously, is that, you know, the traits are such that you can use basically every character in the game because it covers the location and it covers the origin. So nobody's left out in these. Gamma raid is the only one that's been consistently left out because of the team traits, and you know, some characters don't even have the right affiliation, the right team tag, or the team tag just doesn't exist on the raid map. So making it significantly harder, because especially for newer players who are investing in these old in these new characters, nobody wants to go back into 2-year-old characters and gear them up when you don't need to. So my advice for everyone, you know, don't do Gamma 4.3. Do what I do. Do Gamma 4. Do Gamma 4.1. Who gives a shit? This is the worst 2 weeks of Marvel Strike Force that comes around every 6 to 7 weeks, and we're having to be put through 15 days, I don't even know how many days, 14 to 16 days, whatever the number is, of pain of having to do the Gamma raid. So for me and my alliance, what we do is we just do Gamma 4.1, and we auto it, you know, because we have the roster for it. If you don't have the roster for it, do Gamma 4.0. You know, there's no shame in that. The honest difference between the raid difficulties for the payouts daily is not significant compared to what you could get in, say, Ultimus 7.5, Doom 1, Doom 2, anything like that. It's almost non-existent. But anyways, let's actually take a look here. So we're going to start here at patch 5.0. That's the winter patch for 2020. So we're going to zoom in a little bit because all the interesting details are here on the names. So Shatterstar, Longshot, they don't have the X-Men tag, right? It's just X-Factor, I'm pretty sure. Cosmic Mutants, that kind of stuff. Yelena, Red Guardian, they don't actually have a team tag. They're skill military, that doesn't count. Kitty Pryde and Iceman, so they do have the X-Men tag, so you can use them alongside the Astonishing X-Men, of course. So Bishop, Jubilee, and Beast before that all qualify as well. White Tiger and Moon Knight do not qualify because they're part of the Shadowland tag, and that's nowhere to be seen. They don't have any other team tag. Silver Surfer doesn't qualify. Multiple Man, Polaris do not qualify because, once again, just like Shatterstar and Longshot, Silver Surfer is a standalone character. So already here we have, what, 3 patches of characters and a grand total of 4, but that's just because it's one team that happens to have the X-Men tag. But, you know, out of how many characters? 6, 10, 13. Only 4. That's less than a third. Honestly, I think that's probably the better one. We'll continue on, though. Kestrel, not usable, because she doesn't have the shield tag. Despite having a shield logo on her shoulder or whatever, she never did get that shield tag. I think, you know, maybe down the line, I think when she's less relevant, that they'll definitely give her that, because they'll be like, hey, you know what? We just want to make her a little bit better, you know, I don't know, in 6 months' time or something, and then she'll be usable in the shield section of Gamma if we're still doing that. I hope not. I really hope they do something, because I'm honestly to my wit's end for this. Colleen Wing and Misty Knight are members of the Heroes for Hire. This was not usable immediately, but this was made available later on for just that middle section, because nobody was using Defenders. And so instead of using Defenders, now you're using Heroes for Hire instead. So that's something. Patch 5.4, this was in June of last year. We had Phyla Vel, so she's the only usable member because they decided afterwards to give her the Kree tag. The Infinity Watch as a whole is not there, but Gamora as a standalone character out of the Infinity Watch rework is usable, and then Phyla Vel, the other 3 are not. 5.5, this is the Secret Avenger patch. We did actually get some use, and actually double use, out of Maria Hill. So Maria Hill has the Secret Avenger tag, which is also the broader Avengers tag, and she has the Shield tag. So 2 good tags, which makes her one of the best members, and actually, frankly, I want to say almost one of the best releases in 2021. She's very broad-ranging. As far as new players go, definitely get onto Maria Hill if you haven't already. One of the best characters standalone, I think, that came out in 2021, in my opinion, outside of, like, Kestrel. But Maria Hill, great tags, great usage across the board in a lot of different ways. Once again, Cap, Sam, and Sharon Carter have the Secret Avengers tag, which doubles as Avengers. So that's actually 3 characters. These are probably the best characters as far as Gamma Ray goes that were usable in a single lane. And Maria Hill doubling in others. New Warrior. So this was the 5.6 Mystic patch. We had Shang-Chi, who again was also part of that Heroes for Hire tag, so available there. Deathpool, Cloak, and Dagger. None of them were. They have this New Warriors tag. None of them have different tags, so not usable. Weapon X, definitely not usable. Silver Samurai, Lady Deathstrike, Omega Red, not available in the raids. None of them are X-Men. Wolverine had the rework, though, so you could use Wolverine in the X-Men lane that shows up alongside, I don't know, other random mutants if you wanted to. Eternals, definitely not. You know, we're just blowing shit out of the water with Eternals, so you see why you'd want to use that, but nope, they're not available. Of course, Dormammu's not. And then 5.9, you get Magic, who is a weird one, but if you're using her alongside other X-Men, then of course that is valuable. And then we have the Web Warriors. This is kind of December, January, and this is kind of where we're ending. And these are part of the Spider-Verse tag, which happens at the one section on the sides, and then Spider-Verse at the very end. So there is a handful of characters. Let's count this up then. There's usually about something like 30-ish characters per year released. We're not going to be talking about 5.10, which is expected to be Excalibur, but whether or not they actually have X-Men tags on them, especially if it's Gambit and Rogue or Angel, that remains to be seen. It doesn't really matter because the X-Men section is really saturated anyways, and you shouldn't have too much of a problem getting through that. But like I said, there's a few problem areas, especially if you're going through like the 4.3 difficulty, especially towards the beginning with aim and shield. There's a lot of sort of traits, Pimtech, things like this, Wakandans, that you don't really want to build to any excess, but you need to if you want to clear 4.3 reliably, and that's part of the problem. So let's just take a look. We'll encourage the Web Warriors. So T'Challa Star-Lord, not available, and I kind of wish that they brought the Ravagers tag back, or he was made usable for Wakandans. Now, the reason why they didn't do that, well, there's 2 reasons. The devs themselves said that basically he didn't spend his time in Wakanda. He spent his time in space with the Ravagers, so therefore he doesn't get the Wakanda tag. The other side of it is probably because if they gave him the Wakanda tag, that would make Shuri much more valuable in raids, especially in Doom Raid Tech, alongside him giving T'Challa more hit points. So I think maybe that's why they decided not to do that. If they brought the Ravagers tag back, that would be okay, but they didn't. Spider-Punk, Scarlet Spider, Ghost Spider, so Web Warriors 3, check. Magic, check, so that's X-Men, so 4. We have Shang-Chi, so that's 5 characters, 6, 7, 8, 9 with Phyla Vel, 10, 11 with Colleen Wing. Maybe it's a little bit more than I thought. 12... the Jubilee, 13 Bishop, Iceman Kitty, 1450. So surprisingly, actually about half of them are usable, but they're in such an area that's so saturated with existing characters, it doesn't make a big difference. The X-Men lane, which is a huge amount of the ones here that we're talking about here, the Spider-Verse lane, which has the Web Warriors and some other characters, and I will give it to them for the Heroes for Hire in the center lane. This does help because the old existing traits, which was Defenders, really wasn't helpful at this point. But there's a lot of problem sections that I really want to go back to, and I want to jump back to this really quickly here. Particularly here, even Aim and Shield, even with Maria Hill, you know, this isn't amazing. The sides, Brotherhood and Shield, again, you're really crutching and relying on Maria Hill to get you through here. Maybe Nick Fury if you leveled him up and geared him up for Omega Red, but other than that, I don't recommend going back for any of the other characters here. They're not super great. And of course, the Kree. Any of the Kree or Pimtech, any of the Pimtech lanes, this section here, this wider section here is quite difficult. So I think that there could be things that they could do, like bringing back Ravagers, or giving T'Challa the Wakandan tag one day, or just scrapping this whole entire raid, because that's how I'm feeling right now, and that's how I think I'm going to end this video, because Gamma Raid, quite frankly, is the biggest scam to ever hit this game. It is actually borderline more difficult than Doom Raid, depending on your roster, because a lot of them are older characters that you're not thinking about. Let me know how you feel about the Gamma Raid in the comments down below, because frankly, I hate this every time it comes back around. It's the worst 2 weeks of my life, because I can't skip it. I have to auto it at least, and even then, sometimes depending on which lane I'm in, could cause problems. Not so much anymore, because I'm on 4.1, but when I was doing 4.3, this was like literally the roughest time of my life. So yeah, that's the end, guys, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you all later. Boilon signing out.